following chess principles to build a strong position which leads to a winning endgame is smart. But that's not what we are talking about today. This video is about the most feared chess player in the 20th century. That's why he can't be a man of chess principles. He learned chess in his 30s and had a very short chess career. If I asked you to guess the most feared chess player, you would probably say Fischer or your favorite Mikhail Tal. But sorry to break this down. This man took the soul of Mikhail Tal. Later in his life, Mikhail Tal said something about him, which I will tell you later. But now, it's time to introduce you to the absolute legend. Rashid Nezhmetdinov. From Kazakhstan. He used to play checkers. So he didn't learn chess when he was young. When he got into chess for the first time, he was in his 20s. He got bullied by everyone due to a lack of knowledge in chess. So he wanted to take revenge. But then he got ill and never got a chance to focus on chess until he was 30. I wish that was the end of problems. Because then the World War II happened. Rashid had to wait for more years to become a chess player. He was 34 when he started to play chess. He was a sacrificing beast. I know you've seen crazy sacrifices, but the difference is that he isn't sacrificing for a checkmate. It's like the game just going normally, and out of nowhere he is like boom, boom, boom. And his opponent is like, what the fuck? Boris Spasski, Mikhail Tal. They were glad this man didn't play chess before. He has the most unbelievable sacrifices you will ever see in your life. You need to take inspiration from his thinking if you want to go to the next level. That's why we are going to look at 3 iconic games of Rashid. First game I'm going to show you is a special game in the entire chess history. I'm not going to spoil it. You will see what's special. It's a game you have to watch before you die. The second game is absolute destruction. Crazy sacrifices, just a normal day in Rashid's life. The third game is my favorite because it's a battle of 2 absolute beasts. It's like Godzilla versus Kong. It's like Tal versus the evil Tal. When I say it will blow your mind, that's a promise. Rashid starts with e4 and Chernikov plays the Sicilian defense. d4, takes and g6 trying to activate the bishop. And they just develop pieces normally. After a few more moves, Chernikov plays knight g4 trying to trade knights like this. But this is a mistake. This activates the white queen, which is the last thing you want. And Rashid plays queen h4, immediately putting pressure on this weak pawn. Queen a5 from Chernikov, hoping for long castles. Because white is trying to create an attack on this side, so it's better to castle long. But if he does that, black will create an attack first. That's why Rashid decided to castle short. Bishop f6 is a great move. If the queen goes here, black has a discover attack on the queen. If the queen goes here, black queen can take the knight and fork the white queen. It's an equal trade, but white's pawn structure is destroyed. So this will be an easy winning endgame for black. Chernikov might have calculated all of this when he activated the white queen. So it's not a bad move after all. Chernikov knew that 60 years later, he will be in a Chessline video because of his insane calculations. But unfortunately, he forgot the name of his opponent. Rashid Gangster Nezhmetdinov. In this position, he sacrificed his queen for a bishop. And that is the greatest queen sacrifice in the entire chess history. Why is it so great? Because it doesn't lead to a checkmate or anything close to that. The point is that Rashid believes that if he can get rid of their good bishop and the good knight, he can win this game without a queen. Imagine how confident you have to be for this. You might have seen Hikaru sacrificing the queen for no reason against lower-rated players. That's what Rashid was doing to the top players. So here, if black takes the queen, white takes the knight. Then white will start an attack like this. So Chernikov plays knight e2 check and gives his knight first before he captures the queen. Because the knight has to go back and that will slow down the attack. But that doesn't do much. Rashid goes back to the c3. Chernikov manages to defend the pawn with the rook. That's the only advantage he gets from that knight check. But Rashid reminds him that he also has rooks. White has 4 attacking pieces staring at a king. This attack is so strong. There's only one way to stop this. Black has to trade off some of white's attacking pieces. But instead black goes for this bad rook. Rashid kicks out the queen. Then he plays knight f6 sacrificing the rook. If black takes the rook, White gives a discover check and the game is over. So Chernikov went for the rook that plays in the attack. Rashid plays knight h7 discover check. Can't take the knight because rook f7 completely wins the game. So king moves back. Rook h3 and black blocks the bishop with the rook. Because rook h8 is checkmate. Rashid attacks the rook with a pawn, Chernikov takes the rook. Then he tries to give up a rook for this bishop while the other rook is hanging. Rashid says no thank you. b5, looking to play rook c4 to remove this bishop at least. Rashid plays knight g5 threatening this. But rook c4 is still possible since it blocks the bishop. But he plays rook c7 thinking he can get both knight and bishop for the rook. But he forgot he was playing Rashid. After the bishop takes rook takes, Rashid played rook h8 sacrificing another rook. King has to take and knight takes rook is a royal fork. Queen is gone and this is an easy endgame for white. That's why Chernikov resigned in this position. Black can't save any of these pawns. Surprisingly, Rashid was never accused of harassment. Second game was played against Lev Polyagevsky. He is also one of the best players of that time. This time Rashid is playing black. In the opening, they just develop pieces normally. Nothing special until Rashid plays knight g4 and queen h4. If white castles, it's checkmate in one. Even Magnus Carlsen fell for this. But luckily white didn't remove like Magnus did. So here you can see Rashid already getting his pieces to the attack, but white pieces are just stuck in their side. Bishop h6 and queen undevelops. And Rashid closed that diagonal to make sure white queen never gets out. Knight d5 attacking this pawn. Rashid plays g4 trying to open up the king. White plays g3 attacking the queen, and Rashid accepts the offer. Then white plays f4 attacking the knight. He is trying to take the king into the middle like this. I know it doesn't look like the strongest plan, but it's not like white has other options. However, Rashid didn't play the knight check. He just developed his bishop sacrificing the knight. Because after white takes the knight, Rashid has bishop e3. White can also play knight c7, which is a fork. But Rashid's attack is just faster. So he just played bishop c2. Then he took the king to the middle, but this is exactly what Rashid wanted. First, he removes a knight who's defending this pawn. White plays rook h1 to kick out the queen before Rashid does anything. But unfortunately, he forgot his opponent was Rashid. When the attack is ready, he doesn't need a queen. So while the queen is hanging, he decides to hang a rook as well. If white didn't take the queen, the attack goes on and white can resign. So he took the queen. Rook f3 double check. King moves and it has no more legal moves. So Rashid plays c5, it's not checkmate. Because white has on passant, bishop d3, creating an escape square for the queen. But Rashid forces the king forward, forward, and forward. And there are multiple ways to checkmate here. But knight d5 is beautiful. His opponent had to see a doctor after the match, and that's very understandable. Now it's time for the best clash. Rashid versus Tal. Rashid starts with e4 and Tal goes for the Sicilian. After a few more moves, instead of developing pieces, Rashid goes all in. f4. g4. He pushes all pawns in front of the king. Imagine playing like this against Tal. Knowing what Tal said about Rashid, I'm sure Tal was shocked to see this. Now Rashid can play g5, but first he stops Tal from advancing. So Tal decides to play e5, asking Rashid to do whatever he's going to do with pawns. But Rashid plays knight f5. Tal isn't sure what's Rashid trying to do, so he tries to kick out the knight. But this is exactly what Rashid wanted. He takes the e-pawn attacking their knight, but the main point of that move is to activate this bishop. So now he can play knight h6 instead of going back. Tal plays knight e6 looking to plant his knight here and block the bishop. Rashid plays bishop g2 activating the rook and attacking this knight. Tal wants to keep the knight here, so he defends it with the bishop. He wants to keep pressuring these pawns, and after this pawn moves, he will play knight h5, knight f4, and knight d4. But unfortunately, he forgot he was playing Rashid. Because in this position, Rashid sacrificed the rook. And just like in the other game, there's no straightforward attack on the king. He just wanted to play knight d5, attacking both queen and the bishop. Black can't take the knight, it's too dangerous. So Tal moves the queen back, defending the bishop. And Rashid attacks the bishop one more time. Tal blocks the queen. Rashid has to take the knight with the bishop, otherwise Tal will trade knights and the rook sacrifice makes no sense. So takes, and Rashid plays e5 attacking the bishop. If they take the knight, Tal is going to lose the queen. Most importantly, it's checkmate. So Tal takes the pawn, Rashid pin the bishop. Tal defends the bishop, and Rashid plays knight f6 sacrificing the knight. Queen takes and Rashid brings his queen to d4. The bishop is pinned. King moves, rook takes bishop. Tal tries to trade queens, but Rashid doesn't care, because he's sacrificing another rook. Tal is helpless. It's a check and a discover attack on the rook. Takes, check, and Tal resigns, because the only legal move is king d6, and knight f7 wins the queen. Also, he's going to win the bishop. This is the day that Tal felt the fear. And later in his life, Tal said one of the best days of his life was when he lost to Rashid. That's how much he was impressed by this. But I have one final question for you. What if Rashid plays against Mir Sultan Khan? Who would win? If you still don't know who's Mir Sultan Khan is, you have to watch this. I'll catch you there.